Thank you guys for joining me today on Instinctive Addiction Archery. I'm Jeff Phillips. I wanted to bring you something here this morning. Just got finished up with a hunt. It's a whopping 3 degrees here in Alabama this morning. This monster blizzard cold front has come on in, and we're not used to it here, that's for sure. Love cold weather for hunting, but this is a little extreme. Right now it's 7, just checked, and it's 7 degrees. But anyway, guys, what today's video is about is hunting with traditional equipment in late season. It's different, guys. It's completely different than anything else that you're going to try to do. And there's a couple of things I wanted to share with you that I do that might be of a little bit of help to you. Now, first of all, we're going to deal with your bow, okay? Now, whatever type bow that you choose to hunt with, a recurve, a longbow, a self bow, ILF rig, one piece, takedown, whatever it might be, it doesn't make any difference. The critical thing, guys, is to make sure that whatever you're choosing to go out there and hunt with, be prepared that, especially, you know, it's cold here, but we normally stay somewhere in the, you know, mid upper 30s, low 40s. I mean, still very comfortable in my opinion, bow hunting weather. Now it gets down really cold at night, of course, and in our early mornings and the late evenings it really gets down. But let's say you guys that live north of here, and most of you do, I'm aware of that. Guys that are hunting north of us experience way more cold weather than we do. Okay, so I'm going to share with you what I have to do when it gets really cold, way below normal, and gets really tough, when it gets difficult. And the main thing dealing with your bow, make sure, guys, that you've got pounds you can manage, okay? In other words, you may shoot at the house on the warmer days when you're practicing and be shooting just awesome. You may have somewhere that you can shoot inside and everything's fine and good, and you've got your form down, whatever style you're shooting, and everything be great. But when you sit in a tree stand or a ground blind or whatever it might be for hours at a time, and when it's cold it doesn't take long, your muscles will automatically just really tense up. I mean, you're just going to get stiff. You're not going to have that ability that you have once you're warmed up and able to move. When you're in a cold environment and you're trying to shoot a recurve, and I'll give you an example, guys. I've had multiple times this year alone when major cold fronts have come in, and I've been on stand with that brutal northwest wind just cutting and cutting. And after 2 to 3 hours of sitting there and a deer comes in and gives me an opportunity to shoot, I find it difficult sometimes, and you don't really think about this, but I find it difficult sometimes just to come to full draw and actually hit my anchor. In other words, I actually shot at one, about a month ago, really cold evening, and made a good shot, but I remembered I played it back in my head, and I remember I don't think I ever actually came into my anchor like I really should have, because I was so stiff, and it was like I actually lost draw length. When the shot took place, I come in somewhere around here and I made the shot fine. But on any normal case, of course when I was warmed up, I would have really dug in and got full draw out of my bow. So when you short draw your bow, it changes everything. I mean, you may still make the shot, but you're not getting the efficiency that you would have had. And it's just difficult because you're layered and closed. You got so many clothes on, your muscles are tight, and everything's different. So you don't want to try to hunt with too many pounds. Now, my favorite hunting rig here, this is a 51-pound bow. And I shoot this bow really well, and I'm shooting 700 grain arrows out of it. I'm shooting the big Simmons 100 grain inserts, 2117s, and this bow shoots amazing with these heavy arrows. I mean, it really hits hard, but it draws smooth. It's a smooth drawing bow, and I don't have any trouble with it other than when I'm extremely cold. Now, when I drop down to say a 45-pound bow, I have a lot less trouble when I'm really cold getting that full draw, okay? So my advice to you guys is don't try to shoot too many pounds when it's cold. Earlier in the season, it doesn't matter, but when you're out here in the late season trying to get it done, it can greatly affect your accuracy and your shot. It really can, just because your body is not able to do what it will do when you're loose and warm, okay? So that's my advice to you guys. And I'll tell you one other thing, like right behind me earlier in the week, and it has been very cold here, but earlier in the week I was on stand about 100 yards right in here off this ridge, and I had really, from right about where I'm standing, I had 4 does come in somewhere right in here, and they crossed these gullies and they came in right behind me. I heard them coming. I had time to stand up and get ready. Everything was on go. That was about 7:15, and I was ready. Had this bow completely ready. They come in behind me. They caught my trail where I had walked in. They stopped on a dime, put the brakes on, started looking around, and I knew that the gig was up. They were not going to come on around and give me that perfect shot. And all 4 of them were 25 yards from me, wide open in these naked hardwoods here, okay? So I thought, well, it's now or never. I've got the shot. I'm going to go ahead and take it. I drew back on the second one of the biggest ones. I drew back, looked right there in the crease, let her fly, and before that arrow got to that deer, she completely ducked and turned and got out of the way of it. I mean, it sailed right over her. They ran about 15 yards and stopped and looked around. She really didn't know what it was, but she heard that arrow coming, okay? So that's another cue. Late season deer are very, very alert. When they're out of rut, when they've already been chased, when they've been hunted, when the gun seasons have already been in, deer are on high alert, especially does. They're so incredibly hard to get a shot on. So my advice to you, get them well inside 20 yards. If you're gonna take a shot at one with a trad bow in the late season, try to do whatever you got to do to get them inside of 20 yards. Even if you can get them 15 yards or in, it's even better. Your chances will go up drastically for making that shot. I promise you guys. Don't think they can't hear that arrow coming. As quiet as it be, you know, shooting non-vented heads, I don't care what type of feather configuration you shoot. I'm shooting 4-inch shield cut. And I promise you, as quiet as this bow is, she still heard that arrow coming, okay? So I've learned in the late season that I can't really take those shots that I would have earlier in the season when the foliage was on and all that. I'm finding that I really can't do that. I've got to get close to these deer to get it done. I really do, especially when they are alert. And of course, that's usually the case this time of the year. It's hard to get much of anything past them. But the hunting can be phenomenal, especially when it warms up a little right after a major cold front, when they really get out and want to start feeding again. And there again, I hunted the morning. I got opportunity, but I can't go anywhere near fields in the morning because I'm going to blow them out. I have to be very careful where I set up and what I do. The evening hunts, I love hunting the food sources in the evening because when it's bluebird skies, sunny, cold, and not too windy, they're going to hit those food plots and those fields. They're gonna do it. So even if you're hunting public and you're set up somewhere in that transition between where you know they're bedding and where you know they're feeding, like I did last week, I actually was on some public over here and I saw multiple does. There again, the rut is already tapered off here in this particular spot, but we've got some more rut action just south of here that's about to crank up. It's crazy, but that's the way it is. But here, they're already about a month in. So this, what we call the second rut, is about to kick. There'll be a few does coming in that haven't been bred, and there'll be a little bit of action pickup. But I watched several does come off of a pine ridge, cross a draw, and go up a ridge to a field, one right after another, all afternoon long. I was bow hunting and I wasn't in the tree close enough to get a shot, but I saw them. I got to watch how they do, but the deer were extremely nervous and aware for no reason. And this section that I went to has not been hunted. It's had zero hunting pressure, but these deer were still on high alert. They're very weary this time of the year. So you got to be careful, and you've got to climb where you've got cover. And it's not an easy thing to do, guys. It's not, but it's fun. So anyway, if you choose to go out there with your traditional bows, make sure, number one, that you've got your broadheads razor sharp, you've got your arrows flying absolute laser perfect. Test your equipment out. Make sure that everything is good. Shoot a heavy enough arrow that in case you do short draw just a little bit, get you some good FOC. Make sure that your setup is going to penetrate, because you might find yourself doing that. Guys, it's very easy to do. So I encourage you to stick with it, have fun, and get it done. Thank you for joining me on Instinctive Addiction Archery, guys. I love you so much. We're going to get back to hunting. I've got another about a month and a half left, and here in Bama, and we've got some really good action coming up. Like I said, about 20 miles south of here, complete different breed of deer, bow hunting only, public ground that we're going to be on. Not going to be hunting the farm hardly any, because it's becoming more and more difficult to even get a shot at all, even see deer, much less get a shot, the longer that it goes on, because of the rifle season by all the local areas here. It's really tough when we have a rifle season as long as we do, and as much hunting pressure as it is, it becomes difficult. So I'm gonna move to some areas that are bow only, that haven't seen that kind of pressure and have the later rut. So that's my plan. But anyway, guys, I love you so much, and thank you for joining me on Instinctive Addiction Archery. And I pray that everything we do will bring honor and glory to the good Lord above, that's so good to us, that gave us all life itself and everything that we have. Thank you again. Goodbye.